Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you watched my March wrap up, you will know that I have sat exactly here in my wicked jumper, which will be linked in the description, it's from Etsy. Press stop on that last clip and then press go, because we're opening the vlog. Today is the 2nd of April. I'm on my day off. I'm about to film a humongous unhaul, which hopefully by the time you see this video has already gone up, so I will link it below. I don't like filming unhauls. I love unhauling books. I'm very good at putting books aside to go out at the end of each month, but for some reason unhaul videos I leave it, I procrastinate until I've got like 100 books to do, and then it's a massive job, and then that's why I hate it. And it's this whole cycle that goes round and round. So today I'm going to make myself sit and film an unhaul. You can see 2 bags there. My whole side of the wardrobe is full of books. I've got books over here. It's going to be a big job. So before I do that, I thought I would sit and chat with you and just open this vlog, because I've had a book come in. I haven't finished anything yet, but my boss has been kind enough to lend me What a Way to Go by Bella Mackie, who wrote How to Kill Your Family, which I really enjoyed last year, and so did she. She said that this one wasn't quite as good. She didn't love it as much, but I am intrigued to give it a go. And it's this really lovely, like, big floppy, well, it's not that floppy, like, it's floppy that way. Oh, sorry, got hiccups. I've also got a delightful spring cold. Yay. Yeah, so I'm going to give this a go. It just, I'll just read you the tiny bit from the back. It just says, I was immensely grateful that despite the gruesome way in which my husband had died, he'd done it with his clothes on. So we'll see how this goes. I feel like it's going to be a bit like How to Kill Your Family, and it will have that kind of like slightly funny, like inappropriately funny tone to it. So yeah, I'd probably give this a read this month so I can give it back to my boss in good time. So that's the first book coming in this month. There's not really much else to tell you. We are off into Devon for Gary's birthday this weekend. It was his birthday in March, end of March, but as my present to him, I've booked us a cute little cottage for a couple of days, as we tend to do. I will obviously take B-roll. It'll be the usual, just, you know, a cute place. We'll go for lunch somewhere, we'll do some antique smooching and just relax and try and recharge a little bit. He's off the following week with Charlie for the first half of the Easter holidays. I'm going to see Chloe, which I'm very excited about. So yeah, welcome to April. I better go and film an unhaul, and I'm going to need a good amount of water to get me through that much talking. It's the 8th of April. I'm in the middle of packing to go to Chloe's. There's chaos everywhere. This is the best I can do in terms of a setup for this morning. I also need to keep my voice down a little bit because Charlie's still in bed. Hi, hello. Had a lovely weekend with the husband. We had a beautiful time away. Airbnb was lovely. I think I took quite a bit of B-roll of like sunrise and stuff because Saturday and Sunday morning I obviously woke up really early and the sunrise is like right in front of that Airbnb's massive lounge window. So I literally just lay. I was chatting with the people on my Discord. I literally just lay and watched the sunrise both mornings. Didn't read or anything, just watched it come up. It was stunning. And yeah, we did our usual, did a bit of antiquing, went out for lunch, mooched around, came back and enjoyed the property. So yeah, we had a really nice weekend. Came back on Sunday, and then yesterday, like, it was complete chaos yesterday. So we picked up Charlie because he's here with Gary for the week. Our outside contractor arrived to start some of the works that he's going to do for us. And the bathroom suite arrived, which is currently downstairs in our conservatory. I think I put a bit of B-roll in of Sav messing about in the dust sheets. So that all happened yesterday. I also had a physio appointment for my neck. And I don't want to keep banging on about it because it's really boring. But basically, I've been in bad pain with my neck since this time last year when I had whooping cough. Saw a physio yesterday because my referral finally came through. He diagnosed me. He was like, it's basically whiplash. And I was like, from what? And he was like, oh, from the repeated coughing. Because I still have a cough and I've had like chest x-rays and stuff. They can't find anything wrong. I'm still getting this really intense pain in my head. So he basically tested me every which way, including upside down, which was an experience. And has basically come to the conclusion that the muscles in my neck aren't strong enough at the moment to hold up my head, which is why I get to the end of the day and I'm in a lot of pain and I get really tired. And it's obviously because the nerve is damaged in my neck, so I'm not moving as I normally would. So he's giving me some exercises to start building that back up, and then I go back in 6 weeks. And if it's still not getting better, then they will look at doing scans and stuff because I might have herniated one of the discs in my neck. So that was fun. It was actually really good, and it was one of those like rare doctor's appointment where you feel vindicated. It's like I'm not making this up. This is actually happening. So yeah, so that was yesterday. So that was really exhausting. I find anything medical really tiring and stressful. So yeah, that was yesterday, and today I'm going to see Chloe. I'm very excited. I'm going to stop on the way at Taco Bell. I've never had Taco Bell before. I thought they were new in the UK, and then I mentioned it on Instagram, and like 2 people were in my DM shouting, it's been here for years, what are you talking about? I was like, okay, calm yourself. I've never had one, and they might have been in like other parts of the UK, but I feel like it's a new thing in the south, or the southwest where I live. I had to quickly work out then which part of the south I live in. So I'm going to try one. There's one on the way, sort of, or like enough on the way that I will detour to it. So I'm going to try out Taco Bell. Chloe is working all week, so I'm basically going to hang out in her flat this afternoon while she finishes work. She's got loads of phone calls, international phone calls today, don't you know? So I'm going to time myself to arrive in the gap that her boss has left her for a lunch break, I hope. Then I'm just going to hang out in her flat this afternoon and read and stuff. What a hardship. Then I think we're going to get a takeaway tonight, and then tomorrow I'm going to go into Worcester for a wander around. Obviously I'll do B-roll, do a bit of shopping, I'm sure books will happen. And then we're doing an escape room tomorrow night, which I'm very excited about, but also nervous because I've never done one and I suck at like puzzles. So we'll see what happens with that, and then we're going for dinner, and then I'll come back on Thursday. So it should be a nice couple of days of just hanging out with Chloe while she's not working, chilling while she is, reading, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I thought I would just come in and break up the B-roll basically. I don't know how much I'm going to film with Chloe, probably not much, because I'm very conscious that she doesn't film really in her flat. Like she does film, but she like does sit downs in particular setups. So like I don't think I've ever seen her do like an overview of a room, which is fine, and obviously I respect that. So you may not see B-roll of her flat. I will take B-roll when I'm out and about though, and we'll see if she wants to pop up in that. I do have one bookish thing to talk to you about and one book I finished. So by the time this video goes up, my snack swap with Milena will be up, which I enjoyed filming so much, and hopefully you guys will enjoy watching it. And when I'd finished filming, I found this in the box that she sent me, and I just wanted to show it because it's so beautiful. I love this illustrator. This is Esther Bennick, who Melena's worked with quite a bit and sells like bookmarks and stuff from her. And this was just the note that she sent me. She said, "Hi Victoria, thank you so much for suggesting this. It seems so much fun. I should go back and watch the other video you did. I've selected some Dutch snacks that don't have licorice or anise, because I don't like these flavours, which are funnily enough typical Dutch flavours. I hope you enjoy this little selection. Love, Melena." She also said, "P.S. I've also added a cute pin from a typical Dutch general store here called Hamer." That did not make it to me. And like I said in that video, when the box got here, it was a bit open. So I suspect that's fallen out along the way, which is sad. But this print is beautiful. And I'm going to put this up in my classroom come October. So there's that one. And then the first and only book I finished so far this month, because I'm currently reading one that I'm really enjoying, but it's very slow, is The Quiet by Barnaby Martin. This is obviously an ARC. This comes out on the 15th of May, and I was kindly sent this by Book Break in exchange for an honest review. I really enjoyed this. This is set in a post, it's not an apocalypse, but a post kind of ecological disaster type world. We're in the UK, and I think we're about 30 or so years in the future. I thought from the blurb on the back this was going to be kind of Girl with All the Gifts. If you know that story, you know what I'm getting at. It isn't, but I still really enjoyed it. And we are following a woman called something or other. What is her name? Hannah. And it is 20 years since the sound field arrived. There was this kind of, the planet had been heating up, global warming had been gathering pace, and then one day there was like a massive vibration and the sound field arrived. Sound field arrived, which is this like membrane that's covering the entire earth, and it hums all the time. It's this constant background noise. It's 20 years post that, so Hannah remembers the time before, and she's also got her son Isaac, who she is desperately trying to protect. And at the start of the story, you don't know what she's protecting him from, and obviously that kind of unfolds as we go through the story. So my fringe really needs a cut, but I get my hair cut on Friday and I can't be bothered to cut my fringe. I really enjoyed this. I gave this 4 stars. I think this is a debut. I can't see any other books by the author on like GoodReads or StoryGraph, and I will definitely read more. I thought this was really interesting. This was very ironically kind of quietly written, but it's got some really loud messages, strong messages about the climate crisis, climate change, all that kind of stuff. Also about refugees and power, what power can do, how evolution happens. I learned a lot about the evolution of language in this book, and as a language nerd, as a linguist, I really enjoyed that. And yeah, I think the end will not be for everybody. However, I liked the way it was done. I think it's realistic. I would say if the ending of The Handmaid's Tale works for you, I would pick this up. In fact, if Margaret Atwood's writing in general works for you, I would recommend this. It's got a very similar quality to it. And yeah, I gave it 4 stars rather than 5. I didn't get the emotion from it, and I felt like the end was kind of quite rushed. Everything is quite slow, and then a lot happens in not many pages. But I did really enjoy this, and I would recommend it. Like I said, it's out on the 15th of May, and yeah, I think a lot of people are going to like this. One of the reps at Chicken House, which is obviously a different publisher to this one, said to me this year that they think dystopian's coming back. I very much hope so. This has got that kind of, like I said, it's not quite dystopian because it's more of an ecological disaster, but it's got a similar vibe to it. There is like a police force type setup that are very, very sinister in this, and yeah, I really enjoyed this, and yeah, would recommend it. So that's all the updates I need to give you before I trot off to see Chloe. Yeah, I'm going to finish my packing, edit these clips, try and do a tidy round downstairs, although downstairs is a complete disaster at the moment, and then I'm going to go on a little bookish adventure to see one of my favourite people. It's the 10th of April and I'm back from a really lovely couple of days with Chloe. We had the best time. I didn't get her on camera, I don't think, except for a little bit of B-roll, but her weekly vlog from when I was there, I think will be up by the time this goes up. And you can see me being super awkward on camera with her. But yeah, we had a really fun time. Her flat is beautiful. Weather was really good. I went into Worcester by myself yesterday. I walked 40 minutes in the wrong direction. Thank you very much, Google Maps. But I had a really lovely time once I actually got into town, mooching around the bookshops and getting some sushi and all that kind of stuff. She was working, I think I probably said that in a previous clip. And then last night we went and did an escape room. It was really fun. It was Egyptian themed. It was like a mummy's curse that we had to break. I've never done an escape room, but it was really fun and we worked really well together as a team. And then we went out for Mexican food and a couple of drinks after that. So yeah, it's been a really, really lovely couple of days. She was just the best host. I'm so comfortable around her. And like while she was working, I was just hanging out in her flat and reading and stuff. And yeah, come back today. I am feeling tired. Like I said, I had a couple of drinks. And I was very, very comfortable there and stuff. But like, I never sleep anywhere quite as well as I sleep at home. So I think I'm just tired and stuff. But yeah, I've come home and our new dining table has arrived, so I'll take some B-roll of that in a minute to show you. We've got builders here today doing some work in the garden, and yeah, it's just all happening really. I've got to pop out later just to run a little errand, and then that's pretty much it. And tomorrow I'm getting my hair cut. Very excited. Look at the length of this fringe, it's ridiculous. So yes, I'm very excited to get my colour refreshed, cover up these silvers that you can see. And also just cut it back into short because it's currently just about long enough to go into a ponytail, which for me is too long these days. So yeah, that's what's happening. I have acquired 7 books in the last 48 hours. 2 of those are from Chloe's haul. I bought 3 on my Bookish travels yesterday, and then I had ordered 2 which arrived like when I got back today. So from Chloe's haul, she was kind enough to send me a picture and be like, do you want any of these? I have pulled out 2 very different books. So I pulled out, let me just show you, Neon Gods by Katie Roberts and Notes on Execution by Dania Kukafka. I need to find out how to say that surname. Very, very different, okay? I'm kind of intrigued to try a dark romance. I've never read one before, and this is a Hades and Persephone retelling. Chloe said, I will eat my hat if you like this, but she was kind of give it to me anyway. So yeah, I'm going to give this a go at some point. And then this one is one that I saw her and Emily from Emily Kathleen Reads body read a few months ago, and I was intrigued by both of their reviews. So yeah, and this is a man who's about to be killed. He's scheduled to die in 12 hours. And then I think we go back into his history, but it's not told by him. It's the story of the women left behind or something. So I'm kind of intrigued by this. I've seen it floating around. So we've got like a literary fiction and a dark romance. So I was like, we'll give those 2 a go. Then once I was out shopping yesterday, I picked up 3 books. I went to Waterstones, had a really lovely mooch round. I really like the Waterstones in Worcester. Still don't want to cough. And yeah, spent like an hour having a mooch on there, but didn't find anything that I was particularly excited about. Went into a couple of charity shops, couldn't find anything I was particularly interested in, and then I went to the Works. My like last stop, I was like, I'll go to the Works. The reason I went to the Works was because Chloe told me they had this edition of this book with sprayed edges, which is one I already own. So I went to get that, and then I found 2 more in there that I was also like, yeah, let's give that a go. I think I could be wrong. I think it's the first time I've actually bought books from the Works. But anyway, so the book that I already had a copy of, which I will unhaul my other copy and this will take its place, was the Strawberry Pancake House by Laurie Gilmore, which you guys saw me read last month and really enjoy. And the reason I bought this one is because of these edges. I mean, like, they are so cute. Let me just hold that there for a second. How freaking adorable are those edges? I also like that it goes around the top, so it's pink. But then we've got these strawberries and the pancake stack. Like, obsessed. So yeah, I've replaced the book I already bought last month. But yeah, I'll just unhaul that one and put that on my shelves in its place. And then I picked up these 2. These both also had sprayed edges, which I've not seen in other places. And they came with their own bookmarks. So we've got Funny Story by Emily Henry. Sprayed edge, lovely, really beautiful colour. And it came with a bookmark. as well from the works. I've never read an Emily Henry. This was the only Emily Henry that they had in store, and like I said, it also has this really lovely sprayed edge, so we'll give this a try at some point. I'm kind of starting to think about my 31 and 31, which I'm going to do in August, and I will just take the next 31 books off my TBR to read, and I'm like not obviously trying to like skew it to make it easier, but I do want a few like summer romances in there to read, so this is probably one that I will hold on to until then. And then the other one is a book that I saw all over the Bookstore last year, and that is Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. It's got this beautiful ombre sprayed edge, which I really like, and this is a romance between a hockey player and an ice skater. That's all I really know about it. Also came with a bookmark, but I've also heard that the mental health rep is good, and it's also got a content warning in it, which we love. So yeah, we'll give this a go at some point. I know that a few people love this. I'm trying to think specifically. Brittany loves it, I think. I think Emily likes this series as well. So yeah, I'm kind of intrigued to see how I get on with this. But yeah, that will also probably appear in my 31 and 31. And then I'm currently reading the third book in the Chestnut Springs series, so you'll see me review that in a minute. And I was just like, I don't know why I'm pretending I'm not going to read the rest of the series. So I just ordered the rest of it, and it arrived whilst I was away. I'll be honest, I don't know which way around this is. So we've got Hopeless and we've got Reckless, and obviously I will work out which way around this goes before I read them. But this is books 4 and 5, don't know which way around, in the Chestnut Springs series. So yeah, so I've acquired quite a few books in the last 48 hours, plus this one which I already owned. But seriously, how could I not have those edges? And I've had a brilliant time with Chloe. And I also came into a parcel that had been sent to the PO box, which is really sweet, and I've only opened it this far. I kind of opened it without really looking at it properly, and I should have realised it was a gift. But yeah, this is a gift. So it came wrapped like this. Like, look how cute this is. It's clearly a bookmark. And then it says, so a gift for you. This is such a cute idea. And it says, to Victoria, I hope you love these bookmarks. My favourite place on Etsy. Thanks for all the content. Love the monthly vlogs, Charlene, which is really sweet. So thank you, Charlene. I obviously don't know what this is yet, but thank you very much. I'm very excited. So let's open this together. I'll try and do it so you can see. Such cute wrapping paper with the eggs, Easter eggs on it. Should I have opened it from there? I do. I'm very tired today. I'm not fully complimented, so I can't lie. Right, what have we got? Ooh. What is the Etsy store as well? This was Teresa bookmark for that. If I hold that there for a minute, it's got the details there. I will try and find it and link it below so that you can access it. This is obviously a very kind gift from Charlene. Oh, stickers, fun. Okay, so just one more chapter, sticker. Okay, what have we got? I love this. Okay, nope, not adulting today. I'm going to read instead. That's so fun. And oh, the cat on the bookshelf. That's adorable. These are both so cute. Really lovely. And the kind of the colour scheme is going with my current like book aesthetic. It's all like very much like soft pastel colours. Was there any more stickers in here? No, that was it. That is super cute. Thank you so much, Charlene. That was really kind of you. I particularly love this one, I can't lie. But both are really good. That's such a cute design. So thank you very much for that. Plan for the rest of the day. Oh, I'm really tired. I need to finish unpacking. Give my house a bit of a tidy around as much as I can. Downstairs is a disaster zone again. Because there's just dust and like internal doors propped everywhere. Like I said, I need to run out later to run an errand, and then I'm going to curl up and read and use this new bookmark because that sums it up perfectly. the 14th of April and it's been a weird couple of days. It's been a good couple of days because it's been pretty chill. But when I saw the physio, and I did say I was not going to bang on about my neck, but when I saw the physio last week, he gave me some exercises to do, which obviously I've been doing. And obviously it's been making the pain worse because it's going to get worse before it gets better. But I'm not very good when I'm in pain. So I've been doing a lot of lying down and a lot of napping and a lot of feeling quite sorry for myself, which I realise is ridiculous. But we have had a nice couple of days. I had my hair cut and coloured, as you can probably tell. I mean, you can definitely tell it's been cut. The colour is pretty much what I always do. And I did kind of want to do something a little bit more drastic. However, I work with teenagers with autism and some of them are about to have their exams. And me rocking up with very different hair is not a distraction they need right now. So I'm going to wait until after the boys have had their exams. And then I might do something different, although I'm not really sure what. Maybe red? I could do blonde again, but anyway. So my lovely hairdresser tour has very expertly covered up my greys. I say this all the time. It's not the colour that bothers me, it's the texture, because mine are like little antennas that just stick up. So those are gone, and it's had a good chop and tidy. I've had about 3 inches cut off, and it feels so much better, so much healthier. I was getting a bit straw-like. It had been 6 months since my last cut, so I had that done. Went for a little wander in town, bought a book, which I'll show you in a minute. And then, yeah, the last couple of days, have I been outside? No, I don't think I have been outside since like Thursday, and it's now Monday. So yes, it's been a lot of quiet at home. Like I said, just napping and resting and trying not to move my neck too much. And then I did a roast for the boys yesterday, and for me obviously, which we had on the table, which I'm very excited about. Our driveway is being done. We thought it was going to take a day. So far it's taken 4 days because nothing is straightforward in this house. I don't know if I explained this or not, but they're basically extending our driveway slightly. We're having some bushes taken out. I think I did say this already. Bushes are in the back, but they found a gas pipe, which we weren't expecting, under the plants. So that's obviously had to be dealt with. So yeah, the guys are still here working on that. Hopefully today is the last day, but we'll see. I think that's it so far. So today I am going into Bath. So I've got 4 days this week by myself, and then Gary's off for the long weekend, Friday to Monday, and then back to work Tuesday. So today I'm going to go into Bath, and I was very much umming and ahhing about it, but I love being in Bath. It's one of these places that just like refills my cup. I'm still feeling very tired and kind of drained, but a little mooch in town by myself I think will do me some good. I think I'm going to vlog it, but I'll let you know if that has or hasn't happened. You won't see that vlog till, if I do it, it won't go up probably till May or June time. Probably June, because I've kind of got stuff scheduled until then. And I know lots of people will be like, well, if you're feeling tired, don't vlog. But weirdly, I find like creating vlogs when I go places makes me enjoy going there more. I don't know what that says about me, but like, I think I look at things a little bit differently, and I'm trying to put together almost like a story for you guys to follow. That probably sounds really pretentious, but I really enjoy vlogging, so I may well do a vlog. We'll see. So I have a little mooch. I do need to go and buy work shoes, which is a chore I hate because I hate spending money. I don't know why on work shoes. It just bugs me that I have to do that. But mine are really quite roached, so I need to go and get some more of those. I also want to do a quick swizz around Primark. I might be able to get some cheap-ish ballet flats in there for when it gets hot in the summer for work, because I can't wear sandals. And a few other bits like that, and then obviously bookshops. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do this morning. It's now about 9:30. Gary's working and feeling very sad, which he sucks. But he's back to work. I've tidied the house, I've had my shower. I'm going to chat with you. Then I'm going to go into Bath and probably chat to you some more, but in a different vlog. Okay, so books. I have finished 3. I've had 2 DNFs. And I've had 1 book that I bought. I've also got another book arriving tomorrow that I pre-ordered last minute, but I'll tell you about that when I get here. So first of all, this was actually when I was up with Chloe. I finished reading A Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson on audiobook. So editing Victoria, this is my sign when I'm skimming through the thing, so I know to put a picture in. I read it on audio, so a picture will appear here. It was a full cast narration, but I'm not going to tell you who the cast is because I think the number of people in the cast is a bit of a spoiler, is what I would say there. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I'm going to give you a very brief synopsis because it's definitely a book you should just go into as blind as possible. So the basic story is a man meets a woman in a bar at London Gatwick. They're both American, they're both on the same flight, and he gets drunk and he tells her that he wants to kill his wife because he knows his wife is having an affair, and the woman turns to him and says, I'll help you with that if you want me to. And that is all I'm going to tell you. This was really, really clever. It is part of a series. I don't know if I'm going to continue the series because the reviews for the second book are really bad. So I may just leave it as a one and done. But this was a really interesting psychological thriller. There are twists and turns in it. Like I said, it's a full cast narration, so you have different points of view, but I don't want to take how many points of view because that would be a spoiler. And I just was really gripped by this. I can always tell when I'm really enjoying an audiobook because I listen to it all the time. So like instead of like watching YouTube and stuff, I'll listen to my audiobook, and this was one of those. It didn't give me a 5-star feel, but it was a solid 4 and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I would recommend that. It's a really old book. I think it came out in like the early 2000s. So it's not one that gets talked about a lot anymore, but it has been on my kind of vague, I want to read that at some point, audiobook TBR, and it just came as my next read and I was like, sure, put it on, and really liked it. It was really good. So yeah, 4 stars to that one. I then gave 5 stars to A Cowboy Romance. Although, is it cowboys at this point? This is more like a hockey romance. This is Powerless by Elsie Silver, which is the 3rd book in the... I can't remember what the series is called now. In this series. Oh, it just says also by Elsie Silver. By the something series. This one. I've got the other 2 up here. As you've already seen me haul in. I loved this. I gave this 5 stars. This is between Jasper and... what is her name? He calls her Sunny, which is not actually a name. Sloane. And with the reviews of this I've seen, this is most people's least favourite book. This is my favourite one so far. Like I said, we're following Jasper and Sloane. They have been friends forever. Jasper is an adopted brother of the other, of the farm, which I now can't remember what it's called. That's going to really bug me. And yeah, so he's kind of adopted unofficially by the boys on the farm. And he grows up with them because he's got a very dysfunctional family of his own. They basically find him living in a car and they're like, no, you should just come and live with us on the farm, on the ranch. And Sloane is cousin to the kids on the farm. So they grow up together. Sloane basically claps eyes on Jasper when she's 10 and he's like 15 and falls in love with him on sight. But to him, she's always just been kind of a little sister, little cousin, someone that, he doesn't really pay that much attention to. But they have this great friendship that grows with them through the years. And then as they grow up, they stay in the friend zone. And they're both in love with each other. It's really clear. They both kind of know it and acknowledge it to themselves, but they haven't ever said it out loud. And then Sloane is getting married to this awful, awful guy, and Jasper basically rescues her on her wedding day and busts her out of there when something happens. And they end up going on this road trip together. And obviously things go from there. I really loved this one. Like I said, I gave it 5 stars. It's currently my favourite read of the month, which is just wild to me. I think I like this. I like romances where the couple already have the foundations of their relationship and they already have that friendship and that shorthand. Like the banter between these two is brilliant. Like I said, he calls her Sunny. They already understand and know each other, and it's just like taking that friendship to the next level. I really love those kind of stories. It's almost like a second chance, but not quite. I really enjoyed this. That I would check content warnings because there is some potentially triggering stuff in there. Do we get a trigger warning? I can't remember if we do in this one. Yes. So it says this book contains adult material including childhood trauma, death of family member and anxiety. It is my hope that I've handled these topics with the care they deserve. And also we love an author that gives content warnings. So yeah, 5 stars. I loved this. My favourite one so far. I'm really excited to read the rest of the series, but this Jasper and Sloane have definitely got my heart. So there was that one. I then also completed my reread of 6 Tudor Queens, Catherine of Aragon, The True Queen by Alison Weir. This is part of my reread project. Yes, the spine is horrendously faded. That's what happens when there's sun on your books, kids. Yeah, this took me ages. This is very slow paced and it is over 600 pages, 610 pages long, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars the first time. It remains a 4-star. This is the story of Catherine of Aragon, who was the first wife of Henry VIII. And that's all really you need to know. I love Alison Weir's writing. There's something very kind of comforting and familiar about her writing. Obviously this was a reread, so it was familiar, but just something about her writing style always scratches an itch in my brain. And it follows her life. I would say, like I said, it's quite slow. She spent a lot of her time, a lot of her life, unfortunately, waiting for other people. So there is lots of waiting in this book, but I still really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to reading Anne Boleyn, who I will probably pick up next month. But yeah, this was off to a good start on this reread. And then I've had 2 DNFs, and they're both for the same reason, in that I got a certain way in and I just wasn't connected. I just didn't care. One of them I DNF'd quicker than the other. I do feel bad about both. The first one is Seasonal Fears by Shauna Maguire. So Chloe sent me this very kindly from her own haul because she got an arc somewhere. This is the follow-up to Middle Game, obviously by Shauna Maguire, which is a book I love, and I have a hardback copy tabbed on my shelves. So when I saw Chloe was getting rid of this, I was like, yes, please can I have that? I got like 60 pages in, and I was just like, I don't care. I don't really understand what's going on, and I don't care. And Shauna Maguire's longer books, I've often found you kind of have to read them all the way through to understand what's happening. Like, it only comes into focus in the last sort of like 50 pages. And I'll be honest, I'm just don't have the patience for that right now. So I decided to DNF it because I just didn't love it. And I just thought, you know what, Middle Game in my head, that's just a standalone. So that one was a DNF. And then this one I was really surprised by because this sounds like a Victoria book. But again, I got just over 100 pages in, and I was bored and didn't want to pick it up, to the point where like I wasn't reading. I was scrolling my phone instead. And that's Butter by Asako Yuzuki, translated by Polly Barton. This book has been everywhere. It's won all the awards. There are special editions of it everywhere. And like I said, I just didn't care. And we're following a journalist who is trying to write a story about a female serial killer. And she's trying to connect with her through food because the serial killer was a big foodie. And I suspect if I pushed through this, I would probably enjoy it. It'd probably be a good read, but I also feel like I would have given it like 3.5 stars because the start was so slow. And I'm not in the mood to be reading 3.5 star books. So yeah, I've decided to DNF that one, which is a shame. And then, like I said, I went for a little mooch in one of the local towns where I went to get my hair cut. What is this doing here? What is that? And picked up a book. I went into several charity shops. I donated a whole bunch of books from my recent unhaul. And then I picked up this one, which is The Institution by Helen Fields. Helen Fields wrote the Luke Kalanick series, which is a series I absolutely love. It's the like Perfect Prey. Let me find the list. These ones. Perfect Remains, Perfect Prey, Perfect Death, Perfect Silence, Perfect Crime, Perfect Kill, all of those things, and one for Sorrow. I love that series, and this is a spin-off series where we're following Dr. Connie Woolwine, and she's a character who pops up, I think, in the last 2 of the Luke Kalanick series, sort of on the periphery. I haven't really read into this very much. It just says, locked up for your safety, now you're locked in with them. That's really all I want to know, and it's a Helen Fields book, and I think she's an absolute master at writing these kind of detective stories, mystery stories, thriller stories. So yeah, I'm really excited to read that at some point. Okay, that is a 13-minute bookish update with a bit of whinging at the start about my neck. Sorry about that. I'm going to head into Bath and see where the see where the day takes me. It's the 18th of April and I've dressed for spring, even though we appear to have gone back to winter. The weather has definitely taken a turn for the worse. But yeah, I'm still dressing like spring today because that's the season we're in, and I'm feeling like if I try and manifest nice weather, hopefully it will come back to us. So I think last time I spoke to you I was going to go into Bath, which I did. I did also film a vlog, which you will see in June, because I already have stuff penciled in for May. I had a very nice day. Obviously I'll leave that vlog to kind of talk for itself. I did get a book, but I'll talk about that. I'll leave that vlog to tell you about it because it was a blind date with a book and I kind of open it at the end of that vlog. So yeah, it was a very nice day. Had a lovely wander around. The weather was pretty rubbish, but like I had a nice time by myself, and all of that good stuff. And then the last couple of days, Tuesday was a like get stuff done day. I got all my marking done. I do obviously have like I only have 12 students in the autism centre, but I also have a mainstream class, which is like 31 kids, I think. So although my marking load is nowhere near a mainstream teacher, it's also not totally special school teacher either. But yeah, I cracked on and got my marking done, which is good. So I can go into next time with a clean slate. And I did a whole bunch of like life admin. So I like did a stock check of the Etsy store. I sorted out a load of friends' birthdays. I cleared out my personal email inbox, which gets like quite... I'm not very good at keeping on top of it because work obviously takes so much energy, and all that kind of stuff. So that was Tuesday. Wednesday, I literally lay on the sofa all day and read. I'm not even sure if I took any B-roll or not. I might have done a little bit. And then yesterday was which was Thursday, which was sort of a balance between the two. So like I got some chores done, some jobs ticked off the list, things like laundry, that kind of stuff. And then I lay on the sofa and read in the afternoon. So yeah, it's been a nice week. I do feel a lot more rested. Today's Friday. It is Good Friday. Is it Good Friday? Yes. I've lost all track of the days. So Gary's now off for the long weekend, which is really lovely. We don't have Charlie, unfortunately. He's with his mum. But we're going to go to the garden centre, which I realise is the height of middle-class, middle-aged England, Britain, on a bank holiday. We're going to go to the garden centre this morning to sort out some more plants for the garden, because there's a beautiful garden here, which obviously we had nothing to do with. It was here we moved in. That's starting to come to life, which is nice. But we want to add a few more like flowery plants in and stuff like that, fill a few gaps. So we're going to go to the garden centre this morning. And then we're going to a pub that's been recommended by one of our contractors for lunch, and then chill this afternoon. I'm doing a curry, which I've already prepped this morning, got the meat kind of marinating. I've been doing a lot of cooking this week, which I love. If you're new here, my husband Gary does all the cooking during the week, because I literally roll in from work, eat dinner and go to bed. I tend to cook on weekends, but I love cooking, and it's been really nice this week to be able to make him dinner every night, and kind of experiment with a few different things. So I'm doing a curry tonight, and then what am I doing tomorrow? Oh, tomorrow we're out, so we're going to have lunch with my mum, my brother and Grandma Joyce, which will be really nice. And then Sunday I'm doing sweet and sour pork in the slow cooker, which should be really good with noodles and stuff. And then Monday we're getting a cheeky takeaway because it's a bank holiday and I'm back to school Tuesday. So that's all the stuff that's going on. I didn't know whether or not to talk about this, but I'm going to touch on it briefly. There was a Supreme Court ruling this week in the UK about the definition of woman, which excludes trans women, and it's just been horrifying is the only word I could use. It wasn't shocking at all. I think the writing was on the wall for a while and we all knew how it was going to go, but it's been horrifying. And it's been really interesting time to be online because I've been posting quite a lot of pro-trans people stuff on my Instagram, and I would say about 80% of people have been agreeing and reposting stuff and liking stuff and sending me positive messages. But there's been a 20%, I would say, of people sending me negative things on Instagram, which is always stressful to deal with. It's never nice when people come into your inbox to be negative. Obviously it's the kind of topic that is very divisive and people have different opinions and all that kind of stuff. But what I found interesting is the number of women in my DMs trying to use what they would call feminism. It's not feminism unless everybody's included, but okay, to shut me up. I've also had quite a few like stick to books type comments, which I've had before when this topic's come up on other topics. And I get that, I do kind of get it, because people come to my corner of the internet to hear about books and cozy stuff and cats and all that sort of thing, and maybe to get away from real life. However, I'm also a real person with real opinions, and there are some things that I will talk about and will continue to talk about. And also, nobody has to be here. You know, if people don't want to follow me online, that's absolutely fine. You know, there are plenty of other like spaces on the internet for people. And if I'm not the right one for you, then that's fine. So yeah, it's been a bit of a weird couple of days with all of that stuff going on. And it's quite scary. And like I said, I'm not going to talk loads about it. I'm a cis woman. I don't have first-hand experience of this. There are lots and lots and lots of brilliant trans and non-binary creators that you should definitely be following and listening to. But it's also like one of those things that where I completely disagree with the ruling. It is horrifying. And also I think if you are a cis person and you think this won't affect you, you're either very, very naive or straight up stupid. So yeah, there we go. Let's leave that there for now. Okay, so books. I have finished a book and I've had a book come in. I've also had delivery that I wanted to show you. Technically, I finished 2 other books because I've been rereading the Mallory Towers series, and I've got a bind up of the last 3 books, which I am just about to start the final book. So I'll kind of talk about those 3 books. I'm counting them as individual books, but I'll talk to you about them like in the next clip probably, because I'm going to read that last book today and tomorrow. So I have finished other stuff, but like not necessarily ready to talk to you about it in a way. Anyway, the book that I finished since I last spoke to you is The Sunshine Man by Emma Stonex. This was an arc that I was sent by Book Break in exchange for an honest review. This comes out, I think it's the 1st of May. Yes, 1st of May. They sent me this lovely exclusive Southwest edition of the arc. I'm not sure what the other arcs look like or what the cover will look like. But that was very cool. Emma Stonex wrote The Lamplighters, which came out a few years ago. And what was really interesting is that she talks in an author letter. There's an author letter kind of in the front, which I have to say, not to complain, I'm always very grateful when I get sent arcs, but the font is really hard to read. And I don't know if it's just me with my dyslexia or what, but I really struggled to read this. It took me ages. The rest of the font in the book is fine. It was just that author letter. But she talks about how between The Lamplighters and this book, she had another book that she just couldn't make work. And I think that's a really interesting thing for an author to talk about and also to admit. And she talks about how she was kind of working on the other novel and it just wasn't working, and then the idea came to her for this, and suddenly the idea was just kind of spilling out of her. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it. I enjoyed The Lamplighters when that came out, like I said, a couple of years ago. I think I read, maybe that was like 2021 maybe. And this is her follow-up book. So in this, as it says on the front, this is the first line of the book. The week I shot a man clean through the head began like any other. So we're following a woman, is it Birdie? And we're in 1989 in the UK, and Birdie gets a phone call to say that the man that killed her little sister is being let out that day, and she leaves her husband and children. She gets in the car and she drives to London, and she's got a gun with her. And that is all I'm going to tell you. And this is very much, I wouldn't say this is a thriller. This is very kind of I guess it's a literary fiction thriller. This is a look at families, poverty, grief, anger, social class. We go back in time to when her sister was killed and the lead up to that and how that happened and why that happened. We're also following James, who is the man that's getting out of prison. And the 2 characters are kind of on this collision course, and you're kind of moving back and forth in time, but you're also watching these 2 characters of James and Birdie on this collision course. And what happens. I gave this 4 stars. I thought this was really cleverly done. Her writing is beautiful. I would definitely recommend Emma Stonex as a writer, and I will definitely pick up other stuff whenever she puts it out. It didn't give me the 5-star feels. However, it was very, very cleverly done. I feel like loads of you are going to love this when this comes out in May, and it's definitely one that I would recommend. So thank you to Book Break for sending that to me. And then the book that's come in is The End Crowns All by Bea Fitzgerald. Can we just look at this cover for a minute, because I am completely obsessed with how beautiful it is. This is the Waterstones exclusive edition. I love that they've done it in a paperback, I can't lie. And then look at these sprayed edges. So love caused this war. Like, fully obsessed, fully obsessed. So I read Bea Fitzgerald's debut novel I want to say 2022. And can I remember what that was called? Yes, it's on the back. Girl Goddess Queen, which was a Hades and Persephone retelling, YA retelling. This is a retelling of Cassandra. So Cassandra is the Princess of Troy. She's sister to Helen of Sparta, who becomes Helen of Troy, and this is all about the Trojan War. And it just says, but when war finally arrives on the shores of Troy, fate brings the women together in ways not even the gods could have foretold. Together they will change their destinies or be the ruin of all that they love. So I'm really excited for this because I really enjoyed Girl Goddess Queen. It's definitely one that I put into the school library once I'd read it, and it gets checked out a lot. I'm still obsessed with this. The stuff they can do these days blows my mind. So yeah, I'm really, really intrigued by this. I pre-ordered this and it's obviously just come out, so I will be reading this. This is going to go straight into my TBR pile for this month. I'm going to read it very carefully because of those sprayed edges. But yeah, I haven't read a Greek retelling for a while. This is a really cool one. I really like Bea Fitzgerald as an author and the things that she stands for. And I think she also said that she's got an asexual main character in this, which I'm really intrigued by. So we will see how this goes. You'll probably see me talk about this before the end of this vlog. And again, that cover, it's so beautiful. Okay. And then I'm just going to show you this very quickly. I don't know if this is interesting or not, but basically I did another wild order. I also did another big Sugar Hill Brighton order for work clothes, which is a clothing brand I really like. Not at all sponsored. They do a 15% discount for teachers and NHS workers, I think. So I'll put the link below if you're interested in that at all. So yeah, I've ordered some summer clothes for work, and I also redid a wild order. I used Win's code, so I'll leave the video where Win, I think it was their bingo board from hell update video that's got a code in it, so I will leave that video below if you want a code to get some money off. And yeah, I reordered shower gels and did I do deodorants this time? I won't show you all of these because it might be really dull, but I thought I'd just show you because I got a couple of the Alice in Wonderland scents. They've got an Alice in Wonderland range. This is Queen of Hearts, which is cherry tarts, obviously. Oh, that smells so fruity and lovely and fresh. And did I get another one? No. I did get Mad Hatter's Tea Party in the body wash, which is, doesn't tell you what it is. I can't remember now. Was it I don't know, let's smell it and see. Yeah, that smells like tea, but in a good way. But also floral, really fresh and really yummy. I've been using Wild for about a year now. I really, really like their products. They have just been bought by Unilever, which is frustrating because one of the things that I liked about them was that they were not a huge corporation. But I have done one more order and then we'll see how we go because this will last me about 3 months. So yeah, I ordered 3 deodorant refills and 3 body wash refills. I really, really love the products. They really work for me. And like I said, I'll link Win's video below. And then if you want a discount, you can go there to get the code. Okay, I think that's probably enough whiffling. I've been here 14 minutes. Like I said, Gary and I are going to the garden centre today. I'm going to do a curry, and then we're out with Grandma, Mum and Ben on Saturday. And then I will come and update you probably Sunday or Monday before we get into next week and all the chaos that is going to bring. It is the 21st of April and I am stressed. I am also well aware that I look like a thumb, but this is what I've looked like for the last couple of days. It is what it is. So I think when I last spoke to you, we were going out for lunch with Grandma, Mum and Ben. That was really, really lovely. My brother gifted me 2 books, which I will show you in a minute because obviously they need to be hauled in. We had a really lovely lunch and lovely day with them. I talked to you about Sav, didn't I? About her hurting her foot. Yeah, I think I did. She's fine. Yeah, we had a really lovely day. And then yesterday and today we are like hard at work doing DIY stuff. So yesterday I potted all the plants up whilst Gary was clearing some brambles and stuff out of our garden. There's still loads to do there, but the fences are being done next week, or at least started next week, so there's kind of no point making it pristine and perfect just yet, because obviously the contractor's going to walk all over the garden and probably not on purpose, but like wreck stuff as they pull out the fences and put new ones in. But we got as much of that done as we could, and then we have been waxing the 6 new internal doors that we've got going in, because our bathroom fitter is also going to fit those. We got 2 done between us yesterday, and obviously you have to do both sides. It takes forever, it smells horrible, but we got it done. Gary's working on some more of it this morning, and I am just getting the house ready basically for the builders to take over tomorrow when they come to start the bathroom. I need to like basically pack away everything on this wall because the bathroom's on the other side of it, and they're going to be like hacking tiles and stuff off, so I need to rebox my TBR, move all of this. I need to pack for me for the next 4 days because we're going to be in a local Airbnb. I also need to get the cats ready to go because they're going to the cattery tomorrow, so I need to get their travel boxes ready, litter tray for the morning because they'll be shut in Charlie's room for a little bit until the lady from the cattery comes to collect them. I need to get their medical certificates together and get all of that ready. I need to empty the bathroom because obviously we've got a big cupboard with like all of our sheets and towels and stuff and medication and wash stuff and like spare wash stuff. All that stuff needs to come out, and that all needs to happen today. So hence me looking like a thumb because I've just scraped my hair back and like gone with it. But I thought I'd come and chat to you before I dismantle all of this because this is not the best setup, but it's going to be even more chaotic in a minute, because I have finished a lot of books in between all of that. I finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books. 6 books, yeah, not bad, and I've got 2 coming in, so let's talk about those. This is like a little breather in my chaos day. I am, as you can probably tell, stressed because tomorrow I go back to school after 2 weeks off. I'm moving, well, Gary's moving to the Airbnb as well, but like he'll be here during the day and then going to the Airbnb in the evening, whereas I'm just going to go from work to the Airbnb. The cats are going to the cattery, which I find really, really stressful, and all the chaotic work starts happening in our house, so I won't come back here. I'm not planning to come back here until Friday, because there probably won't be any need for me to, but we're only going to be halfway through. Like the bathroom will not be done when I come back, but we're just moving out for the first couple of days whilst we don't have any washing facilities, so I am quite stressed and I feel like there's a lot buzzing in my brain. But books, thank goodness for books, and cats obviously. Okay, so the first book that I finished was What a Way to Go by Bella Mackie. My boss lent this to me, and Bella Mackie wrote, as it says here, How to Kill Your Family, which I read last year and really enjoyed. This one was very mediocre, I've given it 3 stars. We're following a very wealthy family, and the patriarch of that family dies. You can see an illustration here. There's a massive party celebrating his, I think it's his 60th birthday, and he ends up impaled on like this massive like glass lily thing that's in their pond, and you're following him in the afterlife trying to work out how he died, who killed him, and you're also following his wife, and you're following the sleuth, who is this kind of true crime obsessive who is documenting the case and also trying to work out who's killed him. I gave this 3 stars. It was fine, it was an easy read, it trotted along quite quickly, but I did not care about a single person, and I also worked out what happened pretty much straight away. So there wasn't even a good twist where I was like, oh, that's what happened. It was just very mediocre. I would definitely read more from the author. I really enjoyed How to Kill Your Family in a very dark, sweepy kind of way. Check content warnings for that book and this one. But yeah, not the most memorable thing. I feel like next month, if you asked me what this was about and what happened, I probably couldn't remember. It was very mid. Then I completed my second reread for the month, which was Blue Ticket by Sophie McIntosh. This is set, we're not really told when it's set. Sophie Mackintosh writes literary fiction, and it's always quite obscure literary fiction. Excuse me. She also wrote The Water Cure and Cursed Bread, both of which I really enjoyed. But Blue Ticket was always the one that I say I like the most. And we're following Calla, and in this society, in this world, women, when they get their periods, they go to what's called, I think it's called like the lottery office or something, and they draw a ticket out of a machine, and if they get a blue ticket, if they get a white ticket, they are going to be a mother, and if they get a blue ticket, they're not going to be a mother. And then depending on the colour of their ticket, their whole life is kind of set out in front of them in very different ways. And we follow Calla, who drew a blue ticket, so she is not destined to be a mother, but she has this deep urge inside her to have a baby, and we follow her on that journey. First time I read this, I gave this 5 stars. I remember loving this book. I gave it 4 stars on reread. I think it's brilliantly written, but I was kind of reading it being like, why was I so obsessed about this the first time? And it was a few years ago that I read this. I think like 2021, something like that, 2022. And I was just a bit like, I really like the ending. I've always liked the ending of this book, and endings are really important to me. But yeah, I didn't get the kind of goosebumps that I did last time, so you will probably see this in an unhaul shortly. However, I did enjoy it. I think Sophie Mackintosh is a very, very clever writer. She knows what she's doing. And if you are interested in that kind of fiction, I would definitely recommend her. I gave her 4 stars, so I did enjoy it. I just didn't quite get... I kind of went into it expecting chills, and I didn't get it this time, which was a tiny bit disappointing. But yeah, 4 stars is obviously still a really good rating. In between those, I was also reading Mallory Towers. So I reread the first 3 of these earlier in the year, bought myself, or end of last year, bought myself the bind up of the second 3. And I've been reading those over the last week or so, because obviously they're really short, they're like 200 pages each, so they're quite easy to dip in and out of. This is a massive nostalgia reread for me. I do have to say I hate this edition. I hate this cover. I desperately want the ones that I had originally. I can't find them anywhere. I have looked on Vinted, but I will be definitely trying to hunt some of the original copies down, because this edition just ain't it. Again, you'll probably see this in our unhaul. However, I did enjoy my reread of these. These are books that I read over and over and over and over again as a kid, from the age of about 10 to probably about 14. And we're at a boarding school for girls, and it's Enid Blyton, and it was written, you know, in the 50s and 60s. I would say I enjoyed the later 3 less than the first 3. There are definitely, these 3 have definitely not aged as well. There's a lot of kind of importance on people's appearance. The bad characters are always described as fat and ugly, which obviously we just don't need anymore. So there's all that kind of stuff. It hasn't aged brilliantly, but in this collection there is Upper Fourth at Mallory Towers, In the Fifth at Mallory Towers, and Last Term at Mallory Towers, and they were just such nostalgia reads for me. I think I gave Upper Fourth a 4. In the Fifth was a 3.5, because the girls become just really annoying and they're kind of bullying each other, and that's just uncomfortable to read. And then Last Time I gave 4 stars. And yeah, I really enjoy this series. I've only ever read the original 6. There's another 6 that follows Daryl, so Daryl's the main character in this, Daryl's sister Felicity, but I never read those as a kid, so I'm not going to reread them. I'm not going to read them now, because it obviously won't be a nostalgia reread. But yeah, I very much enjoyed my time being back at Mallory Towers, even with an edition that I don't love as much, because I want my original editions. And then today I finished on audiobook, but I have got the physical copy. I finished a reread of Queen Bee by Juno Dawson. The 3rd book in the main trilogy, because this is part of the HMRC, Her Majesty's Royal Coven series, is out this summer. And I realised that if I read this one in April, then HMRC in May, and then I can't remember what the other one's called. Is there a list in here? What's wrong with me? Shadow Cabinet, that's it. In April, May, June. Then when Human Rights comes out in July, I will have just like freshly reread everything. Plus, one of the best ways I feel like I can support at the moment is to read trans authors, so that's another way of doing it. Plus, I read with my eyeballs first time around, but I've heard great things about the audiobooks, which are narrated by Nicola Coughlan. Whoever said that was completely right. The audiobook was amazing. She's fantastic at all the different accents, and I really, really enjoyed this. So this one, in terms of publication order, came most recently, but in terms of the chronology of the story, is the prequel. So I read this one first, and then, like I said, I'm going to go into HMRC after that, and then Shadow Cabinet. And in this one, we are, as you can see from the cover, it is an Anne Boleyn story. It is a novella. It's very short. I think the audiobook is about 4 hours, and it opens on the day of Anne Boleyn's execution. And she is a witch. She's the head witch. I can't remember what they call it. But she leads the coven, and the coven are obviously devastated by her death at the hands of Henry VIII. Not literally, he had a swordsman do his dirty work, but he instructed it. And there is someone within the coven has betrayed Anne Boleyn, and that's how she ended up dead. And we follow Grace, who is very close to Anne Boleyn, and she is trying to find the traitor. And that's the basic premise of it. I enjoyed this much more on reread. I think it might have been the skill of Nicola Coughlan as the audiobook narrator. But I did also pick up more this time on how this links into the main trilogy. And I could kind of see some of the links more this time round. I would say, because this book's been heavily criticised because Juno Dawson gave us this before finishing the trilogy, rather than finishing the trilogy and then doing side quests, which I absolutely get. And this book does kind of feel like the introduction to a wider story arc. Yeah, however, I really, really enjoyed this. It's fun. It's got Juno Dawson's kind of trademark style to it. It's interesting. There's a lot of female rage in here. And it's set in the Tudor court, which, you know, is one of my special interests. So yeah, I really enjoyed the reread. Would definitely highly recommend the audiobooks, and I'm looking forward to picking up HMRC next month. Again, I'll be reading that on audiobook and also Shadow Cabinet, because I read it with my eyeballs first time round. So I'm going to do the audiobooks this time round. Okay, and then the 2 books that my brother got me. One, I've heard of the author and the book. One I've never heard of before. So the first one that he got me was The History of Sound by Ben Shattuck, and I think he said this is short stories. So it says, the history, I won't read the whole thing, but just some of it. The history of sound examines the unexpected ways the past returns to us, and how love and loss are entwined and transformed over generations. In Ben Shattuck's ingenious collection, each story has a companion story, which contains a revelation about the previous paired story. Mysteries and murders are revealed, history is refracted, and deep emotional connections are woven through characters and families. So yeah, Ben did say they were interconnected, the short stories. So that looks interesting. I really like the cover, so you'll see me read that at some point. And then he also gave me There Are Rivers in the Sky by Elif Shafak. And yeah, I definitely heard a lot about this last year, because it's Between the Covers 2024. So it's clearly like shortlisted. Oh, and it's from the Bookish shortlisted author. This cover also is beautiful. Look at that. And this is about a drop of water, I think. This is the story of one lost poem, 2 great rivers, and 3 remarkable lives, all connected by a single drop of water. So yeah, I will give that a go at some point. That is fairly chunky. Yeah, it's like 450 pages. But yeah, thank you very much, Ben. I will read both of those at some point. Right now, though, I'm trying not to be stressed. It's not really working. So right now, I need to update my reading journal, pack all of this away, empty the bathroom, pack for a week out of this house, and at some point try and put my feet up before going back to the chaos of work tomorrow. It's the 26th of April, and we've got a car update because I'm in Bristol, about to go and meet my sister-in-law to do some book shopping, and I'm basically just breaking up the B-roll. I haven't finished any books this week. I've barely read with all the chaos that's been happening, but I just wanted to jump in quickly before I put some Bristol B-roll in. The bathroom is partway done. The old suite is out. We've got only a bath in there at the moment, which means we've moved back in because we did go into an Airbnb for a few days, which was beautiful, but it's been a bit of a weird week because of going back to work, the cats being in Cattery and not being at home. I felt really unsettled. Work has also been really intense this week. When isn't it? But there's been some particularly intense things happening for some of our families. So yeah, it's just been a bit of a heavy week. but was very happy to go and pick the cats up last night. They were fine, they'd had a really good week at the cattery, but it's nice to have them home. And yeah, we've moved back in because we've now got a bath that we can use, and we've got a downstairs loo. So yeah, today I am in Bristol, going to meet up with my sister-in-law. It's quite early, we're meeting at 9, it's now 8:30 because of course I am 30 minutes early, so I just thought I'd give the vlog a quick update. But yeah, we're just going to go just the two of us, which will be really nice, just to have a bit of a wander around to Bristol and bookshop. She's really bookish as well, and a bit of a chat and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's the plan for today. Everything in my house is upside down and covered in dust. So I'll do a proper bookish update probably tomorrow, because I have had a couple of books come in this week from school, and obviously I am expecting to buy books today. We'll see what I find. I'm not going to buy books for the sake of it, but I suspect books will be purchased today, so I'll do a proper update tomorrow. But yeah, I am off to have a little mooch around Bristol with my sister-in-law, and take a break from the chaos that is my house. It's the 27th of April. I look like a thumb and I'm surrounded by chaos. Welcome to my life right now. It doesn't look too bad from here. Obviously my TBR has gone off the shelves and I've got my toiletries there instead for a bit. But like, these normally live in the bathroom. Also, like, this is what you're sat on. There's stuff over there. There's just stuff everywhere, and I thought I'd do a proper update. I've got some books to talk to you about. I bought some books yesterday. Boy, did I buy books yesterday. And I thought I'd do a proper update rather than just an awkward car update like you got yesterday. So yeah, we moved out on Tuesday. The cats went to a really lovely cattery. They were brilliant. So they got picked up by the cattery people on Tuesday morning. I went to work, and then we checked into the Airbnb in the evening. The Airbnb was beautiful. I'm just going to move slightly this way. Airbnb was beautiful, but it was a really weird week because normally when we're staying somewhere like that, we're on holiday, but we were just there to sleep in the evenings. Like, I was leaving there at like 6:30. It was very slightly closer to work, which was nice. I got a 15-minute lay-in. So I was still leaving there at like 6:30 in the morning, and then Gary was coming back here to work and oversee the contractors during the day. I don't know how we did it last week. And then we'd get back to the flat again at like 6 o'clock, have dinner. I'd have a bath in the giant roll top bath. It was a beautiful bath and very comfortable. And then I'd go to bed, and then we'd just rinse and repeat the next day. Sorry, the road's really loud today. So it was a bit of a weird one. Really missed the cats. It's just not the same without the cats around. Obviously, the cattery's a really good one, but I was still worried about them. And work was difficult. There have been a few people at school who are grieving, and we're going to get into that obviously, but it was just a really heavy first week back. I also ran the base on Friday because my boss was off, so yeah, there was just a lot happening as usual all at the same time. So it was really nice to go with my sister-in-law yesterday into Bristol. We had such a fun time, which hopefully you saw from the B-roll. We are very similar in that we are both very bookish. We read pretty much everything, so it was just really nice to have some time by ourselves, because we've got like quite a big family. I would say it's quite a few of us now, which is really lovely, but you don't get that chance to like have a proper one-on-one conversation with people when everybody's there. And like my mother-in-law and I go for dinner probably once every 6 weeks. It's probably not quite once a month, which is my fault because I'm busy with work, but we go out for dinner sort of once every 6 weeks and have a good catch up and some one-to-one time. So it's nice to do the same for the first time with my sister-in-law yesterday. She left at lunchtime because she had plans in the afternoon, and I stayed in town for about another 2 hours and went and bought work shoes, like boring stuff like that. Went to Lush, I bought 3 bath bombs, which I'm saving for when the bathroom is like finished, which will hopefully be in about a week or so. We'll see. We're still missing some parts for the shower, but I feel like I needed like some nice, I haven't had bath bombs for ages, and I was like, we're gonna have a beautiful new bathroom and I need some nice bath bombs to for like the first couple of baths for that. So we did that, and then went and got some lunch and a couple of bubble teas obviously, and some Krispy Kremes for the boys, and for me. I won't pretend I didn't have some. And then came home, and then I was just really tired. I definitely overdid it with like carrying heavy books and lots of walking, so I didn't really do much yesterday afternoon. And today is chore day, which is why I look like this. But yeah, just cracking through the list today. But yeah, I've got a big stack of books here. I've got 1 book I finished, 2 I've DNF'd, and then I don't really want to talk about how many there are that I falled in. So the first of all is the book that I finished yesterday. It was on audiobook, so I will put a picture up here, and that was Ward D by Frida McFadden, which was narrated by Leslie Howard. I picked this up purely because it was on Everand. I read The Housemaid, which I enjoyed, and I also read The Boyfriend, which I definitely didn't. I think I gave that 2 stars. This one was the 3.5. This was fine. This was interesting at the time. It was tense. I wouldn't say it's twisty-turny, but it held my attention for the time I was reading it. Will I remember it next month? Probably not. But for an audiobook for me to read whilst I was commuting, it was a really good one. I really liked the narrator and how she kind of brought the story to life, and we're following a main character called Amy, who is a medical student, and she has to do an overnight shift on a locked psychiatric ward, and stuff starts happening, and I don't really want to say any more about it. That's all I knew, so I would just go into it fairly blind. Check content warnings though. It is obviously a dark book. I've seen some discourse around the representation of mental health. I think Frida McFadden did a rewrite where she took out the word crazy because she was using it quite a lot, which is obviously a good thing, but she took it out because it's not really a word we want to overuse. I didn't think the mental health rep was too bad, but I'm not an expert, and the types of mental illnesses that the characters are experiencing, I'm not in voices for, so don't listen to me. But in terms of the characters and the story and stuff, it trotted along really well. I did think there was going to be like a huge twist, and I thought of one, and I think what I thought of was possibly better than what was in the book. The book was a little bit mundane towards the end. But yeah, it was fine. 3.5 stars. It was a perfectly serviceable audiobook to read, and yeah, I enjoyed it. It was okay. Then I've had 2 DNFs, and these are both for the same reason. I got halfway through, I got about 150 pages into one, and then I got 50 pages into the other, and both times I was like, I just don't care. And I'm annoyed because these are both books that I bought whilst I was in Hay on Wye. The first one was The Testimony of Alice Twist by Susanna Dunn. I'll leave my Hay on Wye vlog underneath if you're interested in seeing when I hauled these. This is historical fiction. We are in the reign of Mary I, so we're in Tudor times. And we're following, obviously, Alice. I was like, what's her name? Alice, who is a laundress for Mary I, the Queen, and she gets sent to be a spy in Elizabeth's household, who at the time is princess and will eventually become Elizabeth I. And I got about halfway through this, and I was like, nothing's happening. I'm bored, and I'm not interested in picking it back up, which is really disappointing because I've read Susanna Dunn before and really enjoyed her. But I've read some reviews and I think I was right to DNF it. So yeah, that one was a bit of a disappointment. Oops, sorry, I'm knocking things now. And then last night I settled down and I got 50 pages into Sea Wife by Amity Gange. gauge. Not gauge, it's the font on here is tricky for my dyslexia. And this is about a family who buy a boat to sail around the world, is the premise. And you've got the husband and wife's voices kind of intermingled. But what really bothered me with this, and this is maybe this is an English teacher thing to complain about, but like, they weren't using the husband's sections, he wasn't using full words. It would be like, oh, so and so, this is happening, and then instead of saying with, it would just have W and then /, and obviously you know what that means, but it was just interrupting the flow. And as somebody, as I mentioned, who was dyslexic, I was like, I'm just finding this way too hard work to read, so I decided to DNF that one as well. Then let's talk about books that have come in. There is no way that my books are going to be balanced this month. Not a single chance. The only thing I'm thinking about now is how bad the damage is going to be. Okay. So we've had 2 books come in from school. So first of all, my boss has lent me Queen Macbeth by Val McDermid. I don't think I've ever read a Val McDermid book, but this is a Macbeth retelling, obviously from the point of view of Lady Macbeth. I'm very intrigued by this. It's really short. This will probably take me an afternoon to read. This is, how long are you? 134 pages. Still got the sticker on it. I'm gonna have to take it off even though it's not my book. Is that bad? I don't think I can read a book with a sticker on it though. Yeah, that's come off fairly easy. Needs a bit of a clean. That's fine. Yeah, so this is a retelling of Macbeth from Lady Macbeth's point of view. I teach Macbeth to my GCSE classes, so to years 10 and 11 I've taught it, well, the last 5 years. And I'm intrigued to give this a read. She said she enjoyed it, so we will see. I will almost definitely read that in May because I want to get it back to her because I borrowed it. And then we're also currently debating what to do as our year 9 novel next year. This year we did Lord of the Flies, which the kids enjoyed, but it was too long. It took us like a term and a half to read it and study it and teach it, which is too long. So we're looking for a shorter book. And my boss's current favourite is this one, which is The Blue Book of Nebo by Manon Stephan Ross. And funnily enough, I asked on Instagram for ideas of texts I could put forward, and quite a few people recommended this. This was longlisted for the Yoto Carnegie Medal for Writing in 2023. I don't really know anything about it except it's post-apocalyptic and my boss liked it, so I'll be reading this. You might see me wrap this up in this vlog because I need to read it fairly quickly. One, to give it back to the library at school, which is where I got it from, but also to give my opinion in faculty meetings. So there's that one. I also, when I was in Lush, one of the bath bombs I picked up was their one supporting Transactual, who are campaigning and raising money to fight the ruling that's been made this month. So I obviously bought the bath bomb to support that. It's a very small way of supporting, but this is all about the charity and what Lush is trying to do. So it's obviously not a book, but it was just in my stack, so I will at some point have a flick through that. We went to Waterstones, Foyles and the Haunted Bookshop together yesterday, sister-in-law and I. The Haunted Bookshop's really cool. I'd never been there before. She introduced me to that. Really, really loved it. Obviously an indie. Oh, and we also went to, is it Last Chance Books, where all the books are £5 or less. So let's do Last Chance first, because that's where we went first, weirdly enough, where I picked up 5 books. So I've decided to give Riley Sager another chance. Having wanted to throw The House Across the Lake across the room when I read it last year, I absolutely hated it. I think this is like one of his newer releases. And this one just says, like the Leonora Hope is thought to have killed her family. She's mute, paralysed, confined to a wheelchair. Until her new live-in caregiver, Kit, brings her a typewriter. And with one working finger, Lenora begins to type, "I want to tell you everything." So that sounds really intriguing. I've read a couple of Riley Sagers, like I said, but The House Across the Lake, I just hated. It was one of my least favourite books of last year. But for £5, we will give him one more try, and that does sound intriguing. I also picked up After You'd Gone by Maggie O'Farrell. I love Maggie O'Farrell. I've read Hamnet by her. I also read her autobiography last year, which is I Am, which ended up my favourite books of the year list. And this was just another one from her. I saw it and I was like, Maggie O'Farrell, yes, let's do it. And this one says, Alice Rakes boards a train. I'm not going to like read the backs of all of these. Alice Rakes boards a train at King's Cross to visit her sisters in Scotland. Hours later, she steps into the traffic on a busy London road and is taken to hospital in a coma. Who or what did she see in Edinburgh that made her return so suddenly? Was the accident a suicide attempt? And what exactly do her family, waiting at her bedside, have to hide? Sliding between different levels of consciousness, Alice listens to the conversations around her and begins sifting through recollections of her past and of a recently curtailed love affair. I think this sounds so good, so obviously I picked that one up. Another one that was a random pickup was The Mountain in the Sea by Ray Naylor. I think I've seen this around. Maybe this was like shortlisted for the Arthur C. Clarke Award. Maybe that's why I've seen it. This is sci-fi, I think, and it's about octopus. And the last bit of the thing just says, Nugent is unprepared for what she will find under the water. It will have a profound impact on humankind and devastating consequences for the octopuses themselves once her research is made public. But the octopuses haven't had their say yet. And that was that last one. I was like, oh yeah, that sounds good. I've also picked up, and I don't know if this is a good idea or not, I picked up Hell House by Richard Matheson. I think I've seen this doing the rounds. I mean, that cover like just screams like 80s horror. And this is about 4 strangers going to a mansion where people have died. So yeah, I'm kind of intrigued by this, but I feel like there might be people in my comments going, that's a terrible book, don't read that. But, you know, I'm willing to give it a try for a £5. And then finally, I picked up Class War, A Teacher's Diary. So I am very wary of reading books about teaching or books by teachers. I've had some really bad experiences with ones that have been like very kind of white saviour, really uncomfortable reads. This one sounds good. This is written anonymously, and it's just about an anonymous teacher's kind of journey as a teacher, experience as a teacher. But I just, the bit that made me pick it up was where it says, painting a heartfelt portrait of the profession and an education system where no one should be left behind but too many are. This book reveals there is laughter to be found, even as a river of effluent is sluicing down the pipe. And I was like, that is such an accurate sum up of what the education system is like. Also this bit where it's talking about the author, it says the author has spent 25 years teaching English and history. I teach English in case you're not aware, because that is his discipline. History because he once English because that is his discipline. History because he once covered a colleague who never came back. And I was like, yes. So we're gonna give this a try. I'm a little bit scared, but we're gonna give this one a try. And then we went into the Haunted Bookshop, which I loved. It was this very cool kind of alternative bookshop. They do like tarot, they do tattoos in there. It was all like, I did not feel cool enough to be in there. And I picked up 3 books because it was Indie Bookshop Day and I was like, well, we need to support our indies. So first of all, I picked up this copy of Frankenstein. Is this not a beautiful copy? This is from the Wordsworth hardback collection. I've got a few of these, and I was whinging in a previous video about how Frankenstein is one of my favourite classics of all time, by Mary Shelley. Did I say that? And I think it always gets really ugly editions. There are very few editions of Frankenstein that I think are attractive. They're usually just really ugly and miserable, but I think this cover, like, I'm obsessed. So I picked this one up. It doesn't add to the TBR. And it's got one of my favourite quotes. I've got this up on the wall in my classroom and it says, "Beware, for I am fearless and therefore powerful." And I've always loved that quote. If I was going to get a quote like tattooed, it would probably be that one. So yeah, it doesn't add to the TBR. It is on my reread TBR for this year though, so maybe I'll read this edition rather than the paperback that I've got. But I just saw it and I was like, that's a really cool edition, I'm having that. And then 2 completely random ones that I picked up. So Son of Blood and Ruin by Merrily Lars. Very cool cover. And it says Witch, Woman, Warrior. I was like, I'm already in. And then there's a whole thing. Obviously, I don't want to bore you with the whole thing, but it just says Mexican history and Mesoamerican mythology meet in this thrilling fantasy with magic, intrigue, treachery, romance, and adventure. And I was like, that sounds really cool. And like I said, I love the cover. Also, look at the spine. It's just very cool. Like I said, I was not cool enough to be in that bookshop, but I did very much enjoy it. And then the last one, this is a completely random one. The Thorns by Dawn Kurtak, I think. And this one is about a toxic friendship. So an email brings Bethany's childhood rushing back. The Glass Man was just a story the Thorns invented, a game of wits. But every game has its rules and its consequences for breaking them. To stay alive this round, Bethany needs to play right into Stacey's hands. Dark and disturbing, the Thorns explores the horrifying world of adolescence abuse, controlling friendships and blinding obsession. And that just sounds so interesting. So yeah, I picked up a lot of books yesterday. there's no way we're going to balance this month. There just isn't, but that's okay. What day are we on now? It's Sunday, so I've got Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday's the last day of the month. Wednesday's my day off, so we'll come in to wrap up at some point that day, I hope. But the builder's going to be here all day, so we'll see what time I get. If not, I'll do it on Sunday. Not that any of this matters to you. Today is chores, housework. I need to do a bit of work in the garden, trying to keep alive those plants that we planted like a week ago. And then, yeah, back into work tomorrow. And those are almost all of the books I read in the month of April. It is now the 30th of April. I'm coming in to wrap up the wrap up. It's my day off. It's Wednesday. It is so hot outside. I had a really lovely couple of hours in the garden this morning before it got too hot. And I lost the shade, but I will be going back out this evening for sure. It's about mid-afternoon, but I'm not going to finish any other books, so I'm coming in to wrap this up, try and get it edited, scheduled and uploaded, or uploaded and scheduled, ready for you guys. I've got 2 more books to talk to you about, and then we can do stats. Yeah, not really much else to tell you since I spoke to you last, I don't think. Bathroom work's coming along really well. I've got footage of the before, but I'm going to put that into May's vlog when, hopefully, unless something goes drastically wrong, touch wood, the bathroom will be finished, so I can do kind of a before and after. I'm so happy with it so far. It's looking really good, so that's exciting. Today we're making more decisions on things like blinds for our bedroom, wardrobe, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's coming together. Well, it feels like we're starting to come together. It's starting to make progress, which is nice. And yeah, I haven't really got much else to update you on over the last couple of days. I have, however, had a couple of books finished. Bear with me 1 second. It's never straightforward, is it? Tesco food delivery arrived just as I was talking, so I had to go and help unpack that, obviously. Yeah, so I don't think there's much to talk to you about because I think I talked to you on Sunday. I did go back to the doctors because the pain in my neck and head has just been really, really bad. I'm waiting for some scans and stuff on it to see what's going on. But in the meantime, they have adjusted my pain relief and that's really, really helping. So I'm definitely feeling more upbeat than I have been. But let's talk about books. So I have had another DNF, and we'll do stats in a minute. But spoiler, I've had five DNFs this month. But it was an audiobook, so I will try and remember to put a picture up here. And that was The Rachel Incident by Caroline O'Donoghue. The version that I listened to about 40% of, was narrated by Clara Hart. So this is one I had really high expectations for because I know Aoife from Words of Clover loved it. It was like one of her favourite books of, I think, last year. Also Leanne from Leanne Rose loved it. And it sounded like my kind of thing, but I just got like I said, I think like 35-40% in, and I just didn't want to keep listening, so I've DNF'd it. We are following, obviously, a woman called Rachel, and we follow her when she's in her early 20s, and it's all about a friendship that she forms with a guy called James. And it's just about like growing up and that kind of weird time when you're at university. It's set in Ireland, so she calls it college. But those kind of like college university years where you're quite selfish and you are going out loads and having adventures and all that kind of stuff. But it's one of those books where you have to really like the character, I think. And I just couldn't stand her. And she was making certain decisions. She becomes like really infatuated with one of her university professors who is married. I really hate that kind of thing, and she's like deliberately pursuing him, and there is a twist on that which was interesting, but I just found her quite insufferable, so unfortunately decided to DNF that one. So it was another DNF. And then this morning I have finished my final read of the month, which is The Blue Book of Nebo by Manon Stefan Ross. I talked about this in a previous clip, borrowed this from the school library because it's a possibility for our year 9 text. I really enjoyed this. This is kind of post-apocalyptic. There's this thing that has happened called the end, where all the electricity went out, and we're following two perspectives. We're following a little boy, or not a little boy, he's 13, called Dylan, and his mum, Rowena, and it's just the two of them kind of existing and surviving. And I thought it was really interesting. It had a lot to say about modern life, about the pitfalls of modern life, and yeah, it's a very kind of quiet book. and I would recommend it. I would check some content warnings. There is child death in here. There's also discussions of like kind of the collapse of civilization. So if you are still in that space where you wouldn't want to read like a pandemic book, for example, I probably wouldn't pick this up, because there's a lot of like, there's some discussion about like on the day that it happens or the days leading up to it, people are like panic buying and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I thought this was really interesting and really clever. I gave it 4 stars. It didn't give me the 5-star feel, but it's definitely got lots to talk about in it. I'm not sure it's gonna be quite right for year 9s. I'm not sure it's challenging enough for year 9s. But if you are looking for a middle grade / lower end of YA on this kind of topic, I would recommend it. It's also set in Wales, and there's a lot about the Welsh language in here, which I found really interesting. And yeah, it was a good read. I gave it 4 stars. Okay, I've just filmed my on-haul clip for this month, and there are like stacks of books everywhere. Right, let's do stats, and then you can go on your way, because as usual, this is probably nearly 2 hours long. Okay, so I've got my trusty green notebook, although I would say, because I know a few of you said that you might order these because I got it from Amazon, I've linked it before. This is just the green Tree of Life notebook. It is really nice, but the pages have starting to come loose. Like I've had to fix, I'll show you March. I've had to fix it with washi tape, which does look cute, but I wasn't hugely impressed because it wasn't like the most expensive thing ever, but it also wasn't cheap. So that's a bit annoying. Anyway, let's do stats. So, number of books read this month. I finished 13 books, which was really good going. 3,933 pages, which is 131 per day, which is actually a little bit light. I try and aim for 150 a day to achieve my 50,000 page goal for the year. But, you know, it was still a good reading month. I read plenty. Average star rating was 4.23. So I'm just going to quick look at March. Well, yeah, which is slightly higher than my average star rating for March, so that's good. My favourite read of the month was Powerless by Elsie Silver. I only gave 2 5 stars this month, and 1 was a reread. And this is my only... Actually, did I give 5 stars to a reread? I might be telling a lie. This might be my literal only 5 star. No, this is my only 5 star I gave this month. And I'm still thinking about it. It's been a few weeks since I read it. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. Obviously, I've already given the review here. But yeah, my favourite read of the month was Powerless. So this goes into my favourite stack for the year. My most disappointing was What a Way to Go by Bella Mackie. I wasn't like bitterly disappointed by this or anything, but I really enjoyed How to Kill Your Family. And this just didn't match up to it at all. If you've only picked up this one and you haven't picked up What a Way to How to Kill Your Family, I would recommend that one. I think it's far better. This was just fine, and like I've probably already said in my review, I probably won't remember the details of it like next month. So that was my most disappointing. My TBR stands at 52 books. You can see it here actually. I put my books back up today because I was told it was safe to do so. The bathroom works are happening on the other side of that wall, so they had to come down. So my TBR stands at 52 books. Now that's fine. Like I try and keep it around 50 books is my goal. However, it has grown by 9 books this month, and that's after I've taken off books to read, obviously, during the month. So the TBR has grown, and we'll talk about how many books I've hauled in a minute. The oldest book on my shelves is Mary or the Birth of Frankenstein, which is in my May TBR, and I got that in October, so we're doing okay in terms of not having books hanging around for ages, and then balancing the books. So of the 13 books I read, 8 of them came off my TBR shelf. Some of them were rereads, some of them were audiobooks. So I had 8 go out. I had 21 books. 21 books come in this month. Let's just take a moment for that. That was a mixture of borrowing them from work. I don't think I've had any arcs come in this month, actually. Possible gifts from people, like Chloe gave me a couple of books from her on haul, and shopping. I did a lot of book shopping this month, which I'm fine with, and I'm excited for everything that I bought, obviously. But 21 is a lot. Is that the most I've hauled in since the start of the year in one go? Let's have a quick look. So January I had 5 in, February I had 9 in, and March I had 8 in. So yes, it was quite safe to say that I went a bit wild with the book acquiring this month. Obviously that means I've had 13 more in than out, and that's really annoying because I finished last month with 12 more out than in, which obviously means year to date I have hauled in one more book than I've had go out. So I've kind of undone all of my good work from the first part of the year. It'll be fine because I'm sure I'll still finish balanced, or nearly. But yeah, I need to slow my roll with the book acquiring over the next couple of months. And then my shelves. So of the books that I've read, 3 are staying and going onto my shelves or back onto my shelves, like rereads and stuff. And I've got 11 that are going out. And like I said, I'm filming vlog style clips at the end of each month to do wrap ups that way. I'm going to try it for 3 months and then we'll put the video together and see what we think. And then DNFs I had 4. So Seasonal Fears, Butter, The Testimony of Alice Twist, Sea Wife, and The Rachel Instant. So it was quite a DNF heavy month. Again, I feel like it's the most DNFs I've had. Oh, actually, no, February was more. So yeah, that is my reading month for April. I feel like it's been a good month. I got to see Chloe, which was fun, and I had a couple of weeks of Easter holiday, which was lovely. The weather, we started really cold. We started sunny, then it got cold. Now we're in like, it's going to be 28 degrees tomorrow, which will make teaching teenagers really fun. So yeah, spring is definitely here. I would say summer's on the horizon already. Next month, what's happening in May? We've got Silverborn releasing. I had an email to say that Waterstones already had it in early, so I'm very, very excited for that. The bathroom works will hopefully complete. Hopefully we'll get a couple of other jobs done in the house, so internal doors, hopefully maybe bedroom blinds. So that's all ticking along. We've got a week's holiday at the end of May. We've also got the bank holiday this coming weekend. It's the only one that I actually get as a teacher, because usually they fall in school holidays. Yeah. I get to see Steph at the end of May as well, so that'll be lovely. So yeah, it's been a good month. I've read some books, I've seen some friends, I've eaten some stuff. It's been a nice time. Okay, let's stop waffling and let's do an emoji of the video. If you got to this point in the video, my favourite read of the month was Powerless. So let's have the rose emoji. I know it'll be a red one, but that's fine. So yeah, leave me the rose emoji. Just let me know you got to the end of the video. Please subscribe if you would like more of this complete and utter chaos. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks everyone. Bye.